Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to the channel. Another episode of Engineered Modern. And so the purpose of this episode is we're going to talk about some of the comments on one of the last videos I posted. And we've summarized all those comments and we're going to talk to you about the top 10 comments from that video. Stephanie, on to you.
A very large portion of your audience, particularly from Europe and Germany, noted that these sliding sash windows are rare in their countries. They often expressed envy or frustration that they couldn't use your solution with their tilt and turn or hinged windows. Any advice for that?
Yeah, these windows that they're speaking of are typically considered a casement window, and that's probably common in other countries. They exist here, but the type of window that I built this for is a reasonably common window called a double hung window. And it just, it slides up and down. Other windows slide side to side. Those are pretty common in America. And I do get that there are other solutions or other styles out there, and this is not really a good candidate for those. I did kind of poke around on Amazon just to see what they have. And there are some solutions. To me, they're kind of kludgy. They're not real elegant. They're meant to fit like, a variety of windows. Undoubtedly, that's why they made it so that it would fit a lot of windows. Well, you kind of have some compromises when you do that. It was kind of made of this fabric, and when you open a window, you're going to have kind of this triangle shape at the top and the bottom. You got to try to seal, and that makes it pretty difficult for this solution. So, sorry, but I don't have one yet. Maybe I'll come up with one. I don't know yet.
Okay, we got a good one. These are some security and locking concerns. Many of your viewers were quick to point out that installing the blocks prevents the window from being locked normally. Several joked about the ADP protected sticker being visible while the window is technically unsecured. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is a good call.
Yeah.
Frankly, I have never used ADT. That came with the house. But to the point of security, I suppose there is a level of security that could be, talked about here. I liken it to, if you have a window that has a screen on it and you open that window up and you have an exposed screen, so you leave that overnight while you want some fresh air, how is this any less secure than that? Again, if you live in an area where there's a lot of crime and stuff, you probably don't want to do this anyway. I would suggest, there's lots of ways of securing it still. Even you could do very simply, say the window slides up and down. Well, you could just put a block, a stick, for lack of better terms, but some kind of a vertical piece that just prevents the window from being opened. And then you could say, well, what about the bottom stuff? Well, yes, okay, so you could secure that to the frame of the house. You could caulk it, and caulking is really quite strong when you got a whole bunch of it there holding it down. You could caulk around that whole thing, and then it would be no less secure than even, think of just a pane of glass is not overly secure by its very nature. So I agree that you could say that there's a level of security, but there are certainly ways that you could go about addressing them.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're on to the next one.
Number 3,
purchase and file requests. This is a big one. There is a high demand for your design. People are frequently asking if you sell these units, where you can buy them, or if you will share the 3D printing STL files.
Sure.
Anything about that?
I did see a lot of comments to that, and I'm guessing that a lot of people didn't read the description because I had already posted the links to 2 different websites, one on MakerWorld and one on Thangs, for those STL files. And as far as do I sell them? Well, this video kind of just took me by surprise. I wasn't ever really intended to sell them, but I have, since posting the video, have worked with a few different clients on making a custom solution for them. So I am totally entertaining, doing a custom solution for different people. And, this is not a looking to get rich by doing this, but if people want them, I'll try to help them out and be fair about it.
That is fair. Okay, on to number 4, technical efficiency debates. A common topic of discussion is the efficiency of single hose versus dual hose portable AC units. Viewers often mention negative pressure and the heat radiating from the exhaust hoses as potential downsides. What do you think?
Sure. Strictly from an engineering standpoint, I will agree that this is not the most efficient way to cool a room. I'm only using this because, hey, we had it and I was just going to use it because we already had it. This was not intended to be some whiz-bang, very efficient solution. And I have seen many comments to suggest that, oh, well, you've got your hoses too close together, or, you've got an intake and an exhaust that are too close together, too closely coupled. And as I've replied on several comments, these are both exhausts. This is a single hose air conditioner unit on one side, and the other port is for my 3D printer, and that's just to exhaust fumes from certain types of filaments that produce a foul odor when you're printing them. So while I agree that other types of air conditioner units, primarily like a window unit, is going to be more efficient, I don't discount that at all. This wasn't about the merits of certain air conditioner styles. This was just to say, hey, here's an idea. If you have one of these, here's just an idea of what you can do to, because the ones that come with air conditioner units are usually just kind of cheap and a little flimsy, and they're meant to fit a lot of windows, and they're taking compromise when they make them. They're making them cheap. They're making them, so that they can just fill the need without going to a lot of effort on them.
Yeah. Okay, number 5. This one is a praise for the engineering and aesthetics. You received a lot of compliments on clean and smooth look of the print. The word genius actually appeared frequently, with many users appreciating the practical application of 3D printing. What do you have to say about that?
The only genius I know of is Wile E. Coyote. Genius. I'm a Looney Tunes fan.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. Hey, you know what? I did not come up with this idea all by myself. There are plenty of other people that have come up with this on Maker World, and that's where I got the idea. I made my own spin of it. I didn't see anything else that, of course, was exactly what I needed. But I saw other people that made these blocks that fit in a window, and a lot of times they used magnets or something to hold me on. I thought, well, that in itself doesn't feel very secure, very stout. So I came up with using these dovetails, and they lock together, and I thought, well, that's pretty good, and it seals it nice. Anyway, genius, no. Thank you for the comments, but genius, no.
Okay, feedback on the music. The use of In the Hall of the Mountain King by Edward Grieg was a standout feature for many. While most found it satisfying or classic, a few found it slow to fast build-up stressful or annoying.
Hey, you know what? The music, honestly,
yeah.
This whole video was not really well put together, well thought out. The music was an afterthought. Found it on YouTube, thought, oh, that just seems kind of nice. That's it. I mean, there was not a lot of great thought put into it.
Got it. Okay, so environmental and material concerns. Some viewers asked about the type of plastic used, ABS versus ASA, and expressed concerns about sun exposure or the environmental impact of 3D printing waste.
Sure. As far as the type of material, I used what's called PETG, and that's suitable for outdoor use. It's not the best. The better material is ASA or even ABS, agreed. I did use PETG, which has some UV protectants in it, and so far it's holding up just fine, but a better solution is ASA. As far as environmental concerns, I mean, hey, there's a lot of plastic in the environment. We don't want to just flood our planet with more plastic and stuff. You know, I don't know what to make of that other than, you know, I'm not trying to be a pollutant or rape the planet with 3D printing. I'm trying to use this as a way to, you know, just solve a problem around the house. And
Yeah.
if plastic is one way to get there, you know, so be it.
Okay. All right. Pest and insulation. A recurring question was whether the design includes a mesh screen to keep out bugs or if there's a foam weather stripping to prevent air leaks from around the sashes.
Yep.
Yeah, that one bugs me.
Haha. Heavy on the pun. So I did not intentionally include a bug screen per se, but everything is sealed up. The hoses themselves are sealed to each unit, so while yes, you could get the occasional bug coming in or out of there, generally speaking, bugs don't really like strong airflow, so if these units are used reasonably frequently, bugs are not going to want to be in there. Yes, it is sealed with foam. I have, you know, some weather stripping tape in some places, and then there's foam in between the two sashes to prevent further leaks.
Fair enough. Alternative uses. Several viewers brainstormed other ways to use your vent system, such as laser cutters, grow tents, Bitcoin mining ventilation, or even cat doors. I think the cat doors idea is great.
That would be great. You wouldn't want one on a second story window such as this,
No.
unless you don't like your cat very much.
No. We like the cat.
Bitcoin mining, hey, if I had enough horsepower to do Bitcoin mining, I'd be all for it. And sure, that'd be a great way to dump a lot of heat out of your room, but I'm not doing any Bitcoin mining. But yeah, it'd be, you know, on a smaller scale, if you've got, you know, a high-end computer, you know, they produce a lot of heat, and that would be a good way to vent off some heat.
Yeah. And the cat doors, that's something that we could.
Yes, I have had people ask me about that specifically. Yeah, I mean, you could certainly make it. It'd have to be a little taller, I think, just so, you know, a cat could actually use it, because these are not really all that tall, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so clean the windows feedback. On a more humorous and slightly critical note, several eagle-eyed viewers pointed out a dead bug or spider web on your windowsill during the close-up shots. We were pretty high up, so...
Yeah, again, you know, I'll be honest, this video was not ever meant to really be anything special or well filmed and in high cinematography.
Or we would have cleaned the windows.
Yes, and I didn't even notice it at the time, but yes, there was a little web hanging on the corner. You know, you had the window up, and there's this little thing hanging there. I agree, it's a little disconcerting, but had no idea this video would do anything like it did, and I was not putting forth a whole lot of effort. Just thought, hey, here's a video, see what happens.
But we are clean people, so that being said, let's wrap it up.
So that's the end of the questions.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it for now.
So that's the end of the questions. I hope you found this informative, hopefully even a little bit entertaining. We really appreciate your support, and hope that you stick around and check us out for the next bit of humor that comes our way. All right? You guys take care.